Ever since white people arrived in South Africa, they've been behaving like wolves amongst the black sheep. They they were decimating the black population, dispossessing the black population, and discriminating against black people, enslaving black people. Then, after 1994, what happened? Instead of the wolf being destroyed, the wolf was given the sheepskin, but it remained a wolf, a carnivore, and up to this day, it still decimates the black sheep, the black population. We are still in the state of being dispossessed, but still slaves who can be killed whenever we refuse to work, like the workers of Marikana were killed. We are still living in shacks. We are still without basic services. There have been too many service delivery protests because black people are still living in a state they were living before democratic dispensation. What happened is that the ship was clothed in sheepskin, but it is still destroying the black population. During the struggle, liberation struggle, there were those who logically believed that when black people will be free, it will be the time for white people to be oppressed. It will be the time for white people to be dispossessed. It will be the time for white people to be enslaved. That is what many were led to believe by their common sense, that if two teams are playing, when one team is winning, it's because the other is losing. They cannot both win. For one to win, one has to lose. If team A is winning, then team B is losing. If team B is winning, then team A is losing. That is how many people were expecting to happen after the victory or the end of liberation struggle. They were aiming that white people will be without farms, without industry, and they will be black people slaves. They will be the ones who will be the domestic workers. They will be the ones who will be paid less than black people, even if they are doing the same kind of jobs. There were many people who believed that the roles will be reversed. It is like what happened in Germany. The Jews were in better standing, not because the Jews were special or they were super talented. It was simply because the Jews were financiers. A worker is always indebted to the employer, and the employer is always indebted to the financier, be it the bank, a cash loan, or IMF ultimately, and the World Bank. Someone is always indebted to somebody who is ultimately indebted to the World Bank or the IMF, which means everything that is in this world is ultimately owned by the financier. Because when you own property worth 300 million, you will always be owing the financier more than 300 million. Therefore, everything is held for the financier. That is how the Jews were in better standing in Germany. As hyperinflation was decimating the German population, if they were starving, they were always indebted to the financiers, who were the Jews. That is how Hitler and the Nazis came to see the Jews as the cause of the German problem, economic problem, because the whole country was indebted to the Jews, who were ultimately owning the country. That is how they come to believe that in order for Germans to stand up, to rise up, the Jews have to be killed, eliminated. They believe that only extermination of the Jews will save Germany, because they saw the Jews as a cancer that was killing the German population, because the financial ultimately owns everything, which is why they ended up killing the Jews in the Holocaust, because they wanted to rid themselves of the financial. It was not that hate that was directed to the Jews, was not really directed to the Jews, it was directed at the financial, who were the bloodsuckers, who were the cannibals, who were the parasites that was sucking the blood of the Germans dry. It was sucking the blood of the Germans to the bones. Financials are the ones who ultimately owns everything, because everybody is indebted to the financial. Which is why the government, the state must be the financial, so that ultimately that money that is owed to the financials is not thrown away, not hidden away, leaving the country dry, leaving the economy destroyed. The money that is paid, the interest that are paid to the government, will be ultimately invested back into the community, which is how people will not be sucked dry, because the money they will pay in for interest on the money that they will loan, it will ultimately come back to help the population, to build infrastructure, to provide jobs, and to provide a better life to the people, not to be given to private individuals who are financial, who just put the money away, leaving the economies decimated. There are people now who are demanding action from me. They want action because logically they want revenge. The people are starting to realize that even with democratic dispensation, black people are still in the same economic level they were in during apartheid. Nothing has changed. Black people have to strike to get an increase, and in that increase, they are given percentages which ultimately amount to nothing, and they are being killed when they strike. People are demanding action. They want revenge. They want to be on the side where whites were during apartheid. They want to be on the side where they can enslave white people. They can dispossess white people. They want to be on the side where white people were during colonialism. People are demanding action. They want revenge. They're starting to think like the Germans. They're starting to think like the Nazis. They're starting to believe that white people are a cancer in this country. They're starting to believe that there's no black success as long as white people are around. They're starting to think maybe we must set up concentration camps where we can put white people away and take away the land, take away the industries, and give them to black people. They're starting to believe that maybe the solution, maybe this country needs a final solution of the white problem. Maybe this country needs a Holocaust where we can cleanse this country of the white cancer. This is what people frustrated South Africans are starting to believe after the Marikana massacre. People's psyche is starting to change. When they hear that white people can kill black people and they get suspended sentences, they start to think maybe this cancer, this trauma needs to be removed permanently. But things should not be like that. Things need not be like that. We must fight for equality. We must not let evil rule. We must prevent concentration camps. We must prevent Holocaust by embracing equal ownership, so that black people must not think like the Germans. Black people must not think like the Nazis. Black people must not think that their success can only be brought about by the decimation of the white population in South Africa. We must coexist. We must co-own. Coexistence will only be brought by co-ownership. Unlike reconciliation, unlike forgiveness of people who are not asking for forgiveness. Because in this country we are told about reconciliation. We are told that we must forget the past. We are told that we must reconcile. But the people who are supposed to reconcile with are not asking for forgiveness. People that we are supposed to reconcile with are killing us. People who we are supposed to reconcile with are enslaving us. They are paying us 3,000 when they are being paid 500,000 and millions on bonus. The structure of apartheid is still alive. The structure of colonialism is still alive. The economic structure of capitalism is alive. The economic structure of enslavement is still alive. The economic structure of oppression is still alive. We are supposed to forgive someone who is trying to kill us, who is actually killing us. We are supposed to forgive someone who is not asking for forgiveness. How do you forgive when someone is not asking for forgiveness? The economic structure of this country was determined by the G8 in Canada. The economic structure of this country was determined at a farm by Oppenheimer. It was dictated to black people that we must accept our condition, we must learn to live under slavery, no matter what kind of government is in power. But that can only lead to the Holocaust. It can only lead to concentration camps, like it did in Germany. We have to prevent a Holocaust. We have to prevent concentration camps for white people. We have to embrace equal ownership. Equal ownership is a solution. Right now we are at the crossroads where we can either go to the Holocaust or we can go for equal ownership. It's the choice that this country must make, because black people are frustrated, black people are angry, black people are baying for blood. The same way Germans were frustrated, Germans were angry, Germans were baying for blood. They were calling for Jewish blood to be spilled. Right now, black people are calling for white blood to be spilled. But that can be changed. White people must embrace equal ownership. Then that is the only thing that will avert this country from reverting to Holocaust. Because we have two choices: Holocaust or equal ownership. People must choose. White people must choose. Either you choose like the Jews who chose the Holocaust, or you choose equal ownership. We need equal ownership. God calls for equal ownership.